My supplements for today. Happy day 56 of the BP Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Today we're going to talk about handling conflicts, handling conflicting information. I think I've mentioned several times in the challenge so far that as I'm researching and studying and finding things out about how to lower my blood pressure, I get a lot of sources, really credible sources, that have conflicting information. They have different recommendations. They recommend things in different order. They recommend there's all kinds of conflicts in the information that I'm finding. Just like handling conflicting situations in our lives, we need to know, how do we handle when we get a bunch of information that one guru says X, another guru says Y, the third guru says Z, another one says X and Y, another one says T, and we just are left with our head spinning. How do we deal with this? What are we going to do? First off, we're going to put our cup of coffee down. I, for example, have got a couple of different books that I'm doing and dealing with for blood pressure. And I've got the internet, and I've got the Mayo book. I've got a whole bunch of different resources that I'm using. And in a lot of those, just especially in the area of supplements and supplementation and what works and what doesn't work, kind of like prescription drugs and the pharmaceuticals. Well, here's the medication. Here's what it's supposed to do to help you alleviate whatever symptom that you're having. For example, lower your blood pressure. And then they come out with the 6-page list of possible side effects. They're really known effects. They're known responses that people have had from these drugs and from tests, but they list them all out. In case you get one, then you need to call your doctor. Well, the same is true when we're dealing with information on supplements, only we don't get that little prescription disclaimer that comes with our prescription drugs of all the things that might happen. We have to figure it out ourselves. So there's a lot of conflicting information in terms of what to do and what not to do. So what do you do when you're faced with a conflicting information situation? Number one, I say identify the problem, identify the situation. Boil it down to something specific that you can look into and find out more about and get an answer on. So if I am looking at, say for example, the effect of magnesium on blood pressure, I'm just going to look at, I'm not going to look at all of the different nutrients or all the different supplements that can have an impact on my blood pressure. I'm just going to narrow it down. I'm going to say, okay, let's look at magnesium. And all I'm going to do then is I'm going to start asking questions about magnesium. Does magnesium lower your blood pressure or not lower your blood pressure? Or is it the kind of thing you have to test on yourself to find out? Because it can go either way. And I'm finding that a lot of the supplements with respect to things like blood pressure, anything else with us individually, by the way, is dependent on us testing it on ourselves. So I'm going to just focus in on magnesium, or I'm just going to focus in on whatever the problem is. Say two people are having a disagreement. Well, what am I going to do first? I'm going to identify the problem. I'm going to get them talking. I'm going to find out from them what is the basis of the conflict. What is the problem that they're having with one another? The same is true when I have a conflict from different specialists saying one thing or another. You find that a lot if you've ever had to go for medical tests or medical treatment. I've had a weird medical history, so I've spent a lot of time with doctors. You'll see one doctor and he'll say, yes, you have rheumatoid arthritis. Then you'll see another specialist and he'll say, no, you absolutely do not have rheumatoid arthritis. Then you'll see a third one and a fourth one and a fifth one. And by the time you've seen the fifth or sixth specialist, your head is spinning so fast, you have no idea what is going on with you. And so you just kind of chuck them all and you ask questions and you do your own research and you figure out what the best course of action is for you. Same with all of this conflicting information. ID, break down what is the exact situation that I can study. Then I'm going to ask questions about that. You know, is magnesium something that I should be looking at, me personally, to lower my blood pressure, or to at least test on myself to lower my blood pressure? Then I'm going to start researching. I'm going to look for different sources, and then I'm going to evaluate and actually judge and weigh the different sources based on their credibility, their reliability, their consistency of good information, the proven record of being truthful and honest and above board. And I'm going to judge it based on whatever other criteria I want. But I'm going to look at different resources and I'm going to say, okay, Mayo Clinic has a really good reputation, but it doesn't mean they're awesome at everything. But I'm still going to give them more weight because they have a great reputation than Joe Blow, who has a supplement shop in a hippie district of Colorado that says CBD oil cures everything, you know, and he says magnesium doesn't have anything to do with it. You just need CBD oil. You know, you're going to weigh things based on your own filter, your own experiences, your own interpretation of things. So 3-step process: ID the thing that you're going to investigate, ask questions about it and research and investigate it, and then weigh and judge the sources based on all of the information you get, and then decide what you're going to do. That is exactly the process I used with all of the conflicting information when I decided that I was going to do a multivitamin, I was going to do a stress-reducing supplement, and I was going to do calcium and magnesium, as I researched those. And then I had to come up with, okay, well, what's the quantity of calcium and magnesium I'm going to try and start with? And that's how I did that, was by weighing the different sources. And a lot of times what I'll do is when there's conflicting information, I will just go out and I will look for, is there backup to the information that people are giving me? And if there is, I might give that a little more weight. But keep in mind that just because everybody's saying something doesn't mean it's true. Just because everybody believes something doesn't mean it's right. I mean, we used to think the world was flat, right? The majority of people living at the time thought the world was flat. So what does that tell you? Don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything you see. Filter everything for yourself and think for yourself. Always think for yourself. So today, our challenge is simply to keep doing what we're doing, the 3 things that we already decided, keep rolling with that plan. But today, come up with 3 ways that you'll evaluate, or 3 things that you'll do when you get conflicting information. How are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? Maybe you just do the 3 steps I do. ID the situation, ask, and then do some research, and then judge and figure out what weigh the options for yourself. But come up with 3 things that you do. Now, let's be honest. You could just say, when you get conflicting information, I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm just going to ignore this. I'm going to run away from this conflicting situation. I am going to do nothing. I'm just going to let it resolve itself. Or you can ask questions. You can look it up. You can do research. You can do any of those things. So decide, what are 3 ways that you will handle and can handle conflicting information from now on. Just write those down in your little notebook, in our handy dandy challenge notebook. This is my polka dot BP challenge notebook. I don't know why polka dots. It's the first empty notebook I came up on. But write down the 3 things that you'll do when you have conflict. And that's it for today. Keep doing what you've been doing for this particular segment. I just took my supplements. I'll continue to take those between now and the end of the challenge and see if they have any effect on me. Yesterday I was tired, but I think it's just because I've got a cold and I'm a little bit run down. So I don't think that had anything to do with the supplements. But again, I'll have to keep paying attention and see how I feel and if it makes any difference to me or not. And then continue to check my blood pressure and see, is it going down? Is it not? That's it. Have an amazing day. If I can help you in any way, if you need help or have any questions about, conflict or the 3 things that you can do to handle conflict or to decide between conflicting information, what to choose, what to do, what direction to go, just hit me up and I can help you with that. Have an amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with our next step in this particular segment toward our 90-day challenge, our 90-day goal. How are you doing? How are you progressing? Let me know in the comments below. Hit me up if you need anything, and I'll see you tomorrow.